What if I told you Killer Croc, the terrifying monster from the Arkham games, isn't just a brute, but a deeply tragic figure? Prepare to have your perception shattered. We're about to dive into why Waylon Jones might be the most empathetic villain in the entire Arkhamverse, challenging everything you thought you knew about this formidable foe. You think Scarecrow's fear gas is bad, or Joker's antics are the most twisted? Think again. What if the true saddest villain in the Arkham games isn't who you expect? Get ready to re-examine your entire understanding of Killer Croc as we unveil the compelling reasons why his story is far more tragic than any other. Forget everything you thought you knew about Killer Croc. Beneath the scales and monstrous strength lies a past so heartbreaking, it might just make him the most sympathetic character in the Arkhamverse. Today, we're unearthing the brutal truth of Waylon Jones, a story that will undoubtedly change the way you see this iconic villain forever. A monster, pure evil, but what if we've misjudged him entirely? Is he really just some heartless, evil reptilian? Does he deserve to be treated like a monster? Does what we're basing from his appearance give us a good perception of who he actually is? In the Arkham games, he's appeared in Arkham Asylum as one of the inmates living in the sewers, and there's a boss fight against him in the game. Also in Arkham City, he makes a small appearance. Next, in Arkham Origins, he's one of the 8 assassins that were hired to take out Batman. And last, in Arkham Knight, in his own side mission. Throughout the games, starting in Arkham Asylum, we see he has this mindless aggression, especially towards Batman. He really seems to hate him and get super angry whenever he's around him. It may seem like at first this aggression is unjustified and doesn't make any sense at all, so you would assume he's just some wild, out of control beast. But is it really just that simple? Him being a monster is the consequence of his existence. That's who he is, the way he was born. Because he was born with a rare genetic mutation that gave him the appearance of a reptilian. As a child, he had an abusive aunt and was bullied for being different, probably just seen as a freak. His aunt would call him names like Lizard Boy and Reptilian Freak, plus him getting bullied at school, with his condition getting worse over time. However, his parents had abandoned him, which was why he was raised by his alcoholic aunt. Even his own family didn't treat him nice or make him feel fine. Both his family and society treated him like an outsider, tormented him, which turned him into an outcast. It makes perfect sense. He probably just wanted to be accepted, but that was brutally denied, laying the groundwork for his eventual rage. He wants power and revenge, and from the way he was treated in his childhood, it makes sense why he would want this. Many people would feel the same if they went through the exact same experience. The asylum as a prison, rather than offering help, all the asylum did was further dehumanize him, as well as exploiting him. The asylum is seen as a place for freaks or psychopaths that are evil. He was somebody that was broken, misunderstood, so he turned to the life of being a criminal because of how he was influenced as a child, treated as a child, and how bad his mental health must have been as a child. So being in the asylum didn't help him because he didn't get the help that made him feel accepted or understood. The asylum labeled him as some crazy supervillain who was out of control and evil, when the whole time he really had a heart and emotions. There's rumors that there were experiments done on him, and that's the reason why, in comparison, during Arkham City and before then, he looked very different when compared with his appearance in Arkham Knight. We see in Arkham Knight, he looks, if anything, more like a crocodile, more like a monster, more unlike human, which would make him feel even more like an outsider, because due to his appearance, he already had all the problems I mentioned before and felt the way he did. But now, this was leading to exactly what he disliked. It wasn't gonna help his problem, which can make him angry and feel like nobody understands him, especially since he's been through this his whole life. So he continues to be a villain because he feels like he's getting something from it. He's hurting the people who made fun of him for being different. Since most people will do that, he feels satisfied from it. It's his way of getting revenge. He believes that he is nothing more than a monster now because of the way people treat him and view him, how his entire life has been, and that no one will ever understand him. Like there's no escape from his situation, and things are never getting better. He's not getting any closer to being accepted or understood. If anything, just seen more as a freak. So he chooses to accept that he's a monster and do something that might bring him some happiness and satisfaction, which is getting revenge on people that would wrongly make fun of him and judge him based on his appearance, instead of trying to understand him or look more into him. He is silently suffering. He has his outbursts. We've seen this through the Arkham games, especially during Arkham Asylum or Origins. So frustrated at Batman, since Batman also a lot of the time treats him like a beast or a monster who's emotionless or evil, instead of actually understanding him, and Batman's approach isn't the right one. He feels pain because he doesn't like the situation he's in, but he has no choice. This also makes him feel lonely because nobody is like him or wants to be around him. People care a lot about others' appearances. So Killer Croc looking so unusual, scary, like a freak, unappealing, prevents genuine connection or understanding from others because they don't give him a chance. The stronger he becomes, the more he accepts that he's a monster, or the more unhuman he becomes, the more alone he is, because that just separates him even more from others, which isn't going to help with him being accepted from others. And if anything, they're going to be even more judgmental, even less try to understand him. So this means he's trapped by his own power and appearance. Even though he wants to be accepted, he never will be, and he probably knows this. Even if he becomes more powerful and accepts his appearance, at least it will bring him some sort of happiness, even if it won't fix that problem he has of not being accepted by others or being misunderstood. Maybe even making him feel that being different is fine because it's better than worrying about others not accepting him and treating him so badly. At least this way, he won't have to deal with that continuously without having any control. He's a villain that could have been prevented pretty easily if he had some sort of control over his own life in certain ways. Unfortunately, that's why life isn't fair, because he doesn't have that control. Of course, he must have accepted that by now. He may even think of himself better than a regular human in certain ways, like his physical strength. He is more intimidating, which can have benefits, along with other superhuman abilities. Croc's actions are symptoms of deep-seated trauma, not pure evil or that of a reckless beast. Everything that's happened to him isn't fixing the root cause of his problem. So he's having all these symptoms of getting angry, being frustrated, doing bad things because it's his way of coping, or masking the real problem, dealing with the fact that the root cause is not going to be fixed, which is his genetic mutation, how he's treated differently, and no one will ever understand him. It's just like anything else. There's symptoms when there's a problem, but if you don't fix the root cause, the problem will truly never be solved. What if Waylon received empathy and support instead of cruelty? What would he be like? He probably actually would have never became a villain. He would have been fine. He wouldn't have felt the need to do any of the things he's tried because the root cause of the problem would have been fixed or not there. He actually probably would have been pretty happy and just a regular, nice person. Whenever you play through the Arkham games, look at it from his perspective, the hidden pain beneath the rage. Those times he has those bursts of anger and frustration isn't just because he's some out of control beast. It's because of deep trauma that hasn't been fixed, even that he's still dealing with. Well, is Killer Croc the Arkhamverse's saddest villain? There are other villains that are pretty sad, but my answer would be yes. He is the Arkhamverse's saddest villain. There's other villains like Mr. Freeze or Clayface that you could say have pretty sad backstories and situations they had to deal with, but I don't think it's the same extent as Killer Croc. I also feel like Killer Croc's situation is the most unfair. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think Killer Croc is the Arkhamverse's saddest villain? Do you think that he's extremely misunderstood? Or is what he's doing justified? Do you think his approach is the right one? And what would you do if you were in the same situation as him? Guys, remember to subscribe and to turn on notifications. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another Cosmic Chaos video. Bye!